Hello, I'm Eric Felton, and this is Beyond Category. Back in the 1930s, the French guitarist Django Reinhardt gave birth to a whole new genre of jazz, what we know now as gypsy jazz or jazz manouche. And that jazz genre is going strong today. One of the greatest groups working in jazz manouche is the Dorado Schmitt All-Stars. They're touring here in the U.S. from the West Coast in San Francisco to here in Washington and New York City, where they're headlining the annual Django Reinhardt Festival. Well, we got to catch up with them here on our VOA stage. Let's go check it out. Dorado Schmitt, fantastic, just wonderful. So this music that you play, really inspired by the great Django Reinhardt. When did you first hear Django?
Alors déjà, pour commencer, je joue de la musique grâce à mon papa.
First of all, I'd like to start by saying that I'm a musician thanks to my father, who was a guitarist and violinist. As a matter of fact, my first instrument was not guitar. I began by playing the accordion. After that, I tried to learn to play the violin, but thought that was too difficult. So I decided to try learning guitar instead. However, I didn't start with Django. I started with rock and roll. I even tried to play a few Jimi Hendrix songs. Later I discovered George Benson, Wes Montgomery, etc. It was much later that my father said to me one day, "Listen to Django, and you will understand." And ever since my father had me listen to that music, Django music, Django would be, and in my opinion, is still the greatest jazz man of today. I consider him to be the Mozart of guitar music.
Oscar Peterson talked about how the first time he heard Art Tatum play, it made him want to quit playing because Art Tatum was so great. How big a challenge was it when you heard Django to try to learn that music?
Non, pour moi déjà, Django.
Well, I consider Django to be such an amazing musician that I knew it would be a major feat to be able to play at that level. But I told myself, look, he's Manouche and I'm Manouche, so I must learn to play this music. So for me, I admit, it was a huge challenge. I would listen to Django's solos. I'd spend hours and hours listening to his music over and over, contemplating each note. It was incredible, because Django is not just about technique, but also about melody that he played with heart. When you listen to certain Django songs, you can hear how happy he was. It's like a train speeding by. And then there are other Django songs that are sad. And you feel that sorrow when you listen to them. He put all his deepest emotions and feelings into his music.
so many players who do jazz manouche really just focus on the repertoire that Django did. But one of the great things about your group is that you and Ludovica and Pierre all write music yourself and move the tradition forward. Tell me about how you think about composing songs in this jazz manouche tradition.
J'ai de la chance d'avoir rencontré Pierre Blanchard, mon ami.
I consider myself lucky to have met Pierre Blanchard, my friend, and Ludovic Bayer. They help me a lot. And when we're together, we automatically, either Pierre or Ludovic composes music, or sometimes I do. I say, my friends, I'd like to show you something. I have an idea, and so I'll play the melody and then some harmony, and they'll pick it up without missing a beat and add to it. But they are the only people I can do that with. Pierre Blanchard, Ludovic Bayer, and, of course, my cousin Franco.
Well, I'd love to hear one of your melodies. What could you play for us next?
Alors pour moi, Pierre, c'est un très grand musicien, un très grand violoniste.
I consider Pierre to be a great musician, violinist, composer, and musical arranger. So I decided I needed to compose a beautiful song for him. He deserves it. So I composed this song and dedicated it to him. The name of the song is For My Friend, Pierre.
For Pierre from the Dorado Schmitt All-Stars. you learned from your father, and you've taught your sons and a whole family worth of musicians. How important is the music being part of a family tradition, passing the music on?
Alors oui, bien sûr.
Of course, I owe everything to my father, who gave me everything and taught me everything I know, and of course, my mother, whom I respect very much. But it's my father who initiated me into music. I owe everything to him. I have 5 sons, and they are all musicians. But 2 of them, my oldest and youngest. The oldest is named Samson Schmitt, and he is a wonderful guitarist. And my youngest is named Amati Schmitt, and he is a guitar virtuoso. Suffice it to say, you will be hearing about him in the future.
You combine virtuoso skill with music that has heart and sentiment and is beautiful music. It's not just show-off music. How do you combine having all of that technical skill with having heart in the music as well?
Well, to begin with, when I'm in the company of great musicians such as Ludovic Bayer, Pierre Blanchard, and like my cousin, Franco Martin, I feel supported. I feel as though I can give everything I have in my heart to give, because they make me feel at ease. And that's a very important thing for a soloist. So my friends are there with me, and together we're a family. And after that, it's like magic. The end result is joyful music, or sometimes sad. And that's how it is.
Ludovic Bayer, Pierre Blanchard, thank you so much. Wonderful. In the U.S., one is more likely to see someone playing an accordion that has a keyboard on it, and you play the chromatic or button keyboard. And how big a challenge is that, and how different is that in what it lets you do?
The instrument is could be the same inside, but the keyboard is different because you have button instead of having the keys. And the button give you more range. You have more octaves to play, more notes, and the instrument could be smaller, a little bit more compact.
So if you have the keys, each one takes up so much space. With the buttons, you can have maybe 3 notes in the space
because
of
you
each
have
key.
the valves on a piano-type accordion is 2 rows. So that's why you have the black keys and the white keys, and if you want more range, the accordion will lie very, very tall.
Now, Pierre, the group is here in the U.S. playing as part of the Django Reinhardt Festival, an opportunity to play the music of Django Reinhardt, and you've been doing this for a few years. You've got a new record out that was recorded last year at the Django Reinhardt Festival. Tell me a little bit about this festival.
We have each night a guest, different guest, American musicians. So it's a challenge to, exchange between us, and it's always very funny.
In the spirit of the festival, where you let people sit in, maybe make room for a trombone player.
Let's try, Sweet Georgia Brown?
Sweet Georgia Brown.
Let's
great
do for
tune.
that.
The Dorado Schmitt All-Stars. I'd like to thank my guests, the Dorado Schmitt All-Stars, with Franco Merstein on rhythm guitar, Pierre Blanchard on violin, Ludovica Bayer on accordion, and of course on lead guitar, Mr. Dorado Schmitt. My name's Eric Felton, and I hope you'll join us again soon for more good music on Beyond Category.